Welcome to Off the Roster, brought to you by our founding partner, ProLine. Betting on ProLine is now easier than ever with their new app. Download it today and make things interesting. I'm Lindsay Dunn. That's Dan Riccio. That's our pal Cabbie. Happy Monday to everybody. I just had such a moment where I was looking at you. It's like, I can't hear anything. I didn't have my headphones plugged in. It is a Monday indeed. We have a great show for you as always planned. We have Kevin Gausman on the show. We're going to talk about the Leafs, Raptors. I'm hoping you did not stay up last night and watch the game, because let me tell you, you didn't miss much. But what you did miss, or maybe you did watch, we will tell you what you should be looking out for and some crazy storylines that have happened in the sports world. But I want to start us off with an amazing call that happened in Major League Baseball. The Toronto Blue Jays, their spring schedule is done. They have an inter-squad game today, and they're on their way back to Toronto. This happened on the call of a Minnesota Twins game. Take a listen.
It's a good start for the Twins here in the fourth inning.
You ever seen Buck with his pants down?
No. Like in shorts?
No, like he doesn't have his, no socks showing.
Ah, I see what you're saying. So
Play it again. Play it again. Play it again.
Oh.
Take it in a
it's a
second
good
time.
start for the Twins here in the fourth inning.
You ever seen Buck with his pants down?
No.
The reaction.
Like in shorts?
No, like he doesn't have his, no socks showing.
He doesn't have the
I see what
knee-high
you're saying.
socks
So,
going,
yeah.
okay? He doesn't have the knee-high socks going.
Just
Cab was bewildered. Look at Cab. He's like, oh, wow, okay, now I get it. Cab, we got to get your mic unmuted.
you were so taken aback by this. It's a Monday.
I was until Dan, you said, he's wearing full pants. I still didn't know what the announcer was trying to get at. Like, I was like, what, bro? What?
He's like, nope. Like, where are you going with this, buddy?
Is that a scene out of Brockmire? Like, that feels like it's Jim Brockmire was in the booth.
Oh.
Imagine Lindsay
show
just
on
starts
AMC,
the show
which is
like,
great.
hey, Cab, you ever seen Dan with his pants down? I'm sorry, what?
No, and I never will in life.
I was debating.
It was about the socks, guys. It was about the socks.
Just his reaction. Nope. Like, where are you going with this? Which is,
Yeah.
I think Cabbie was like, why? Where are we going with this?
This is why it's truly an art to do baseball play-by-play. There is so much downtime over the course of 9
Seriously.
innings. Especially when you think about spring training. And at the end of spring training, you're like, there's a bunch of guys. Nobody knows who they are on the field. We've got to come up with stuff to talk about. Hey, you ever seen Buck with his pants down?
Nope.
Can't say that I have.
Well, the Blue Jays weren't caught with their pants down
No.
when it comes to signings ahead of the season. It was announced this morning, not really surprising, that the team has extended Vice President of Baseball Operations and GM Ross Atkins to a 5-year deal and manager John Schneider to a 2-year deal. The comments online, for the most part, are pretty favorable in response to this. But when it comes to, say, Atkins, I would say he helped people believe in the Blue Jays again. Yes, he has a laundry list of deals that may not have went so favorably. And for his tenure with Shapiro, many people called them Shatkins and referring to that in a non-positive way. But if we just look at the last couple of years, I know Kevin Gausman is in the final year of his contract. Phenomenal signing. He was fantastic in the playoffs and in the regular season. And then you go to what they kind of did at the trade deadline, bringing in someone like Louis Varland, who made history for the amounts of reps that he had. And then you can even go with Big Oak. Mm-hmm. How will that play out? Cody
Finally
Ponce.
signing a Japanese star.
Yes. I think there's a lot of positives the last year and a half surrounding them, but I do understand the frustration. But I do feel that this is a great signing for them. Another 5 years, we'll see how that plays out. But he has helped make people believe in the Toronto Blue Jays again. So how are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, rather, just specifically starting on Atkins?
I mean, it's just incredible the 180 that's happened here, right? You think about where this team was a year ago, and getting the Vladdy Guerrero Jr. signing done, it was like, oh, they've passed the deadline. They still haven't gotten a deal done. They eventually got it across the line, and it's been only good vibes ever since they've gotten Vladdy done. But before that, like the approval ratings, if you were to like go through Rogers Center during a Blue Jays game and ask for the approval rating of Atkins or Schneider, it wouldn't have been very good. So 1 year has changed a lot. And if you think about it a different way, Mark Shapiro believes a ton in continuity. He's always been about that. Every time the team has been under fire, he's talked about wanting continuity and having guys, work through issues. And he's given Ross Atkins the space to do that, obviously. But by the end of this deal, we're talking about a 15-year tenure for Ross Atkins as GM of the Blue Jays if he survives the full 5 years of this contract. And given how up and down it's been, Cab, I don't think anybody would have expected Ross to have lasted this long in the job. But he's earned this extension with the way the team has turned it around over the last year.
I agree with you, Dan. And certainly if we're looking at December of 24 or January of 25 leading into the 25 season, my group chat, it was and I think our comments echoed a lot of Blue Jays fans, which were not positive, which were quite negative, and we also did a group chat. And one of my friends is as a financial advisor, he put out a video apologizing to Mark Shapiro and Ross Atkins for no reason. I mean, he talks about like finance content, but he was like, I'm such a diehard baseball. I have to get this off my chest. And the whole group did a 180. And the results last year were remarkable. A 20-year increase from 2024 to 2025, going from 74 wins to 94 wins, was just unreal. And yes, the stability that you referenced as far as Mark Shapiro wanting in his club and his front office, that's been true. And I hadn't thought about it. That will be 15 years. They joined the club in 16 after Alex Anthopoulos went to Atlanta.
Shapiro joined in 15, and then he hired Atkins.
Oh, then he hired Atkins in 16.
In the offseason leading into the 2016 season.
Into 2016, that's right, yeah. And it's a credit to Shapiro and Ross Atkins to move the ownership to sign Vladimir Guerrero Jr., which they were at a stalemate for like a month of either the final month of preseason or the first month of the season. I think Vladdy's deal got done once the season started, and it was a big check that they wrote to their franchise player, and the fans wanted him back. We wanted Bo Bichette back too, but at least we got, hopefully what is a Hall of Fame career. He will have a Hall of Fame career here in Toronto and deliver multiple World Series titles. So salute to Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro, who we did an emergency pod, I think in December when he was extended. And salute to John Schneider, too, for getting a 2-year extension. And that continuity continues. I think this will be 6 or 7 full seasons as the manager if he manages to the end of his deal, which runs out in the end of the 28th season.
Yeah, July of 2022, I vividly remember where I was when it was announced that Charlie Montoyo was relieved of his coaching duties for the Toronto Blue Jays, and Schneider got the call up. Yeah, they just came off a 1-6 road trip. There was no hope surrounding this team, and then Schneider was brought in, and there's been a lot of criticism surrounding him and his tenure as manager with the Toronto Blue Jays. And if you even go online and just read some of the discourse, some are saying like, why would you do this? But things, why wouldn't you do this after the season they came off of, how he rallied this team together? And you are seeing there was such a shift in the momentum and the player response to him compared to Montoyo. Will he make it through the 2 years? That is the question also surrounding him, but I think it's something they needed to get done before the season was done. The Vladdy deal was not done during spring training last year, and I remember that was such a storyline surrounding them. People saying they were going to boycott the games. The first couple of games, there was no deal, and then fans still showed up, and then there was a deal. So you're hoping with this, there's kind of less drama surrounding the team. They still have a number of players on the final year of their deal, including Varsho and Gausman and I believe Springer. But it was a no-brainer for them to make this deal with Schneider.
Yeah, I mean, ownership has got to be loving this. I looked over the weekend to see what's it going to cost me to get into opening day since I don't have tickets currently, and you're looking at like $200 a seat in the nosebleeds. for Friday's game against the Athletics.
Wow.
So it's a hot ticket coming off the season that they just had. Schneider has worn a lot of the big moments through the last number of years. The Barrios playoff thing, which is kind of a team discussion going into the game, how they're going to handle your starter in a big-time playoff matchup like that one. He obviously has to wear it as it's his decision. You think about even this past October, which game was it where he went to Brendan Little instead of, I guess, Sir Anthony Dominguez, and Little got touched up, and everybody was like, how could he possibly have done this? This is a fireable offense. And now it's, oh, great, he's signed for another 2 years. Yeah, we love John. Yeah.
We love him. Coach and manager of the year.
Remember that time he said start spreading the news and he popped the champagne? That was the greatest moment in Blue Jays history. This was great. So people have done a complete 180, but fans can be fickle, and we can, if things don't go off to a great start, people can quickly get on the train of why did they extend these guys? It's going to be a tough season. The AL East is an absolute gauntlet. The Jays have a good enough roster. Schneider has done an unbelievable job keeping this team together, as you mentioned, Linz, and getting these guys to buy into not just the X's and O's of baseball. We know it's a lot different managing a baseball team in 2026 than it used to be when Joe Torre was the king of it all. A lot of it is just man managing and making sure you get the guys to buy in, to do their job, play their role to the best of their ability, and Schneider seemed to figure that out last year. We'll see if he can get that same vibe going again this year.
Yeah, I am curious to see what the reaction and fan base is going to be like on Friday for those tickets, like you mentioned, that are $1 bazillion. Mel putting in the chat that just for general admission, $85, resellers at least $147 to get in and to stand. And I love the excitement around this team. Baseball is back. There's so many storylines to be excited about. And before we play an interview I have with Kevin Gausman, I'm just curious for you guys. What is a story in Major League Baseball that's not Blue Jays related? Because trust us, we are going to be talking about the Blue Jays every day. We're going to be breaking down every storyline, but non-Blue Jays related to an extent. What are you looking forward to? What's intriguing you about it? Cabbie, you go first.
Tarik Skubal's future in Detroit. This man is electric. He is, to me, the best starting pitcher in Major League Baseball. At 29 years old, this lefty, two-time Cy Young Award winner, also has a triple crown on his resume in 2024. The last pitcher to earn a triple crown was Justin Verlander in 2011, also with the Detroit Tigers, who is now currently with the Detroit Tigers. Toronto will play in Detroit May 15 to 17. They might see Skubal then. Toronto then hosts Detroit September 14 to 16. Way higher stakes. Might see Skubal then. Skubal, it's Detroit, so I'm going to use this analogy, and it's probably a poor one. But he's a 2026 Chevrolet Corvette ZR1X with 1,000 horses under the roof, under the hood, a twin-turbo V8 engine. This dude is electric. And also, Detroit has the lease, the front office has the lease on the desk, and it's due. But there's an option to buy. So my question is, why hasn't he been re-signed by the Detroit Tigers? Why hasn't he been extended? Because Tarik Skubal can become a free agent at the end of the 2026 season. The sign on the window for the Detroit Tigers is October. This is not a rebuild. This is not a retool. This is right now. Their season ended, Detroit's season ended in 2025 in the ALDS in 15 innings to Seattle. Their window, again, it is right now. And one final note, or a couple final notes. Detroit is the favorite to win the AL Central. Tarik Skubal is the favorite to win a third Cy Young Award. And as the LA Dodgers and the New York Mets have more money than our Lord and Savior and can offer Skubal a deal somewhere in the $350 million to $400 million range because he's raised his floor by winning arbitration with the Tigers to $32 million in 2026. Now that long-term deal, and he's a Scott Boras client, is going to be loaded with paper. Multiple Brinks trucks will be backed up for the team that signs Tarik Skubal to an extension. If the team underperforms, by, say, the All-Star break, mid-July, I imagine that the offers coming in will be, that we were talking about movies before the start of the show, that scene in Avengers Endgame where all the multiple portals start to open up when that final fight scene, there's going to be prospects coming through the portal, starters, draft picks, maybe an all-star or two. Like, other teams will absolutely clear out the cupboards to acquire a pitcher of his caliber. I'm here for it, and I'm so curious. I can't wait to see what the future holds for Detroit's ace, Tarik Skubal.
And if the Tigers don't somehow win the AL Central, I mean, that's pretty much it's the White Sox, no good. The Twins are going to be really bad. Cleveland, Cleveland's kind of,
Cleveland will be there. They're always
they can be
there.
around it. They got hot at the end of last year, and I guess Kansas City's got some really talented players, obviously led by Bobby Witt. But it's not the AL East. And to me, the biggest story in Major League Baseball is the AL Beast. I've been talking about it all spring training. It is going to be an elimination chamber in baseball for 162 games between the 5 teams in the AL East. Okay, you've got the Jays who won 94 games last year and won the division and spent more money than any other team this offseason, but also lost the biggest bat or the second biggest bat in the middle of their order and weren't able to replace him necessarily because Bo Bichette is that damn good at the dish. Yankees, 94 wins. I know Garrett Cole and some other guys are going to start out the season on the IL, but they had 94 wins and they're getting Garrett Cole back. I think the Yankees are going to be pretty good yet again. We all know and expect that. Boston had a great offseason, might have the best rotation in all of baseball, and the Orioles loaded up. Like, I know the Orioles were really disappointing last year with, 75 wins? But if they're under 500 this year, I will be shocked. The AL East. And, Tampa Bay is Tampa Bay. They obviously didn't look good yesterday against the Jays in spring training. No, but Tampa Bay, they could win 72 games. They could also randomly pull off 88. You don't know what's going to happen with the Tampa Bay Rays. They'll pick some guy up out of AA and he'll all of a sudden be the next best thing in all of baseball. So the Rays are always a wild card. This division should have 4 teams above 82 wins, should have 4 teams above 500. That makes it the best division in baseball by far, and one you can make no guarantees in, and it's going to be, doesn't matter if it's April or September, like the games are going to be hot in the AL East because you can't be giving up games in April and May and expect to be climbing out of the basement if you get off to a slow start, not just for the Blue Jays, but for any team in this division.
I'm so excited. I hope the Jays start off 9-0. That's all I want. That's not a lot to ask. No kidding. I am so excited for this. I love these storylines because every single team in Major League Baseball has something to look forward to, like the Rockies actually winning a couple of games. I know that that's something that they're looking forward to this season.
Oh, they're the Moneyball team now, right?
Oh,
Paul DePodesta's there.
Oh, man.
Also known as Jonah Hill.
Yeah. Also, I think
Nice,
didn't he DFA Clement, or was that way before his time? Something happened. I don't know. But anyways, let's go to where I gave you guys the task of, hey, don't make it Blue Jays related. Well, mine is Blue Jays related, kind of. Bo Bichette. It's a simple storyline. I'm just curious, will he be able to win over Mets fans? It is a tough fan base. We know this about Yankees fans and then New York fans in general. He's already been getting so much heat online through social media and even at the games. My understandings from a couple of people who went and saw him perform at their home ballpark during spring training, there was some random boos. Like, why are you already? Like, why are you booing him? Is it because of relations to the Blue Jays or how much his contract was for? But Dan, you mentioned how great and impactful his bat was. We'll see how he will perform with the Mets. That is one of the most intriguing and curious storylines I have. Is also, how is he going to play at the new position that he has not played in Major League Baseball?
He's, because we have so much fun with metrics and analytics these days. Like he's got the. I don't want to say noodle arm. He's got the biggest noodle arm in all of baseball at third base.
Don't want to say it, proceeds to say it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be harsh, but he's got the softest toss from third base. So that's going to be an issue.
You know who does not have a noodle arm? Kevin Gausman, who
that's right.
is getting the ball to be the opening day pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays. He's been with this franchise now, I believe, for 5 years. He's become a beloved member of the franchise and had some phenomenal performances during their World Series run. I had the chance to catch up with him at spring training. Take a listen. Goose, you were the starter for opening day. How did you find out about this? Like, did they do like a secret setup, or was it just straightforward? You're getting the ball.
We kind of had some talks early in spring, but I think it just got to a point where it was kind of like, hey, we need to announce something. Would you want to do it? And I said, yeah, of course. If you guys want me to do it, I'll do it. Yeah, obviously very honored and humbled to get this, get the ball on what is the biggest game of the year up to that point. So excited. I really thoroughly enjoyed pitching in Toronto, especially last year, but really the last couple of years, and so it'll be fun.
I don't know if you're somebody that visualizes something, but have you thought of the fact, like, this is the first game back after, I know clearly Game 7 of the World Series, but Canadians have not stopped talking about the Blue Jays and how hungry they are for that game and how electric it will be.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. I think, obviously the last game I pitched was in the World Series, so I don't know if it'll be that electric as that. I would expect it not to be, but yeah, there's so much excitement about the Blue Jays right now, obviously, after last season's success. And I think more than that, it's just the group of guys. I think it's such a likable group of guys that I think just really kind of showed everybody how to play the game the right way. And so an easy team to like. And so, yeah, we're all really excited to get back and play in front of our fans that have been great.
I know you're going to get asked about this a lot this season, contract year, and this will be the only time I ask you about this. So when it comes to the conversations, I know you said you want to play in Toronto, you like playing in Toronto. How involved are you in this? Or is it something you want, like, hey, after spring training, we'll wait until later to talk about it?
Yeah, I don't really know. It really hasn't been something that either side has really talked extensively about. I think I've made it known since day one I would love to stay here longer, but as I've said, it's a business and it's not always up to me or my family. So, but yeah, really just kind of get through this year and we'll reevaluate.
Getting through this year, I was shocked to hear the word retirement surrounding you. Is it true that you thought about it for even a hot second during the off season?
It's definitely something that I've thought of after this contract. Just in the past, it was kind of like this. Yeah, this is probably going to be the last one. Listen, just my kids, they get older, every single day, and I miss a lot of time with them that I could have being home. So really, it's kind of about like what's the positive, what's the negative. I would like to finish my career and my kids still be young enough to want to be around me, so that's definitely a deciding factor in it.
When it comes to deciding factors, has there been a conversation in the clubhouse about the dusters that you and Cease are rocking and potentially trying to know?
The dusters, I've never heard it called that. No, not really. People kind of have definitely been talking about it, but when you have a guy like Cease whose mustache is something out of a movie, everybody else has kind of looked pretty mundane, but we've got some guys who've had beards the last couple of years and all of a sudden now have mustaches, so it's been fun. It's a good way to kind of keep it light.
When's the last time you were in a batting cage?
Actually, crazy enough, the 18-inning game of the World Series.
What?
Yeah, I was getting ready just in case something happened. We didn't have anybody left, so I was in there swinging, thinking I might get a at-bat in the World Series, which would be pretty crazy.
Yeah, so trying to relive that moment, what do you remember about your form? How do you think you were going to do?
It was honestly probably one of my better cage work sessions. I was pretty dialed in. I don't know if it was, big game, got to raise up to the occasion, but it was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Like Hunter Mentz, our previous, assistant hitting coach was like, that was great. So definitely kind of surprised some people that day.
So we're kind of teasing last time I talked to you about how trash you were at fantasy football this year and that you got last. And it wasn't going to be this similar punishment we saw before where they'd have to wear the record and be bat boy like we saw Bassett. So you had two options. Can you talk about what the options were?
Yeah, so option one was just a monetary donation to kind of get out of option two. There was no real option. It was either you do this or you pay this monetary amount. But option two was to sing the Canadian anthem, O Canada, at a spring training game. I rehearsed, I was ready, I learned the French part, was pretty fired up to do it, but the higher powers had a different idea about it. So we're still in the process of trying to figure out what option three will be.
Any chance you're willing to humor me in doing some of option two right now?
No.
No, I don't even know the French version. I was like,
no. I'm going to save that for a rainy day.
But we will say you had a great French teacher.
I did, yes, my wife.
So, first of all, you're hearing it here first that the bet or whatever for fantasy football, which we teased up before, and I was sworn to secrecy, we could not say, was that whoever lost would have to sing the national anthem at a spring training game, and that got shut down. So his wife,
Who put the kibosh on that?
Yeah.
You know what? Now I don't like the extensions Shapiro and Atkins got.
I don't think it was them.
They're the killers of fun. It's just, it couldn't have done no harm. Anyways.
But can you imagine? And then it was after we were joking. I was like, I can't even think of any French words right now. And then I said Kalaja too, which is terrible French, but I'm pretty sure that's happy birthday or something, or how old are you? And he looked at me, and he's like, what? I'm like, I can't. I'm like, I cannot think. Bonafetta add to. Yeah, I could not remember any French at all from the national anthem. So I looked at him like, can you just tell me one of the words right now what this was? So there was a lot that he revealed in that interview that was pretty neat.
It's Kevin Gausman, always an interesting interview. The idea of him retiring, it's like, I can understand, when he signed that deal, like maybe this is the last contract he will sign, but he's pitching so well. I mean, you can definitely keep going if he chooses to. We know that's a big ask going into the later stages of your career, but him as a hitter in that 18-inning game, trying to think back on it, I mean, maybe it changes the outcome. I don't know. Usually we have to see position players go on the mound. I would have loved to see Kevin Gausman do his best Bartolo Colon and end up having to get up to the dish and maybe whack one out of the park.
Sexy. Wait, so, okay, a couple things. One, is Gausman's wife French? Is she Canadian or something?
No. She's also from Louisiana. She's a teacher, and she knows everything. She also teaches math. Like, she's really smart and knows everything and really kind. But yeah, no.
Okay, so Louisiana Creole. Okay, so there's some French there for sure down in the bayou. And then Gausman warming up in the batting cage. Just like, what? Like what? Were you gonna come in for Brendan Little or relieve Eric Lauer? Because we got to use your arm. I think. Well, actually, the next game would have been Game 4. So I think he started in Game 4, 1, 4, and 7, I believe, right? In the World Series, or was it Savage? Anyway, no, Savage was Game 5. But yeah, what? That was incredible to hear. And who's looking for your bat though, Gausman? Who's we got some professional hitters out there.
What?
I mean, it's wow. I wish there was maybe there is a documentary crew that has some footage of that as part of, I don't know, the ESPN 30 for 30 that comes out in 10 years, revisiting the greatest World Series of that era or something like that. Man, that's a pretty a great nugget that you pulled from him and would have been so puzzling. Can you imagine? Dan mentioned earlier in the show that Schneider has to wear a lot of the decisions from the front office. So Barrios pulling him versus Minnesota, and then somehow we give up 8 or 9 runs to Seattle the following year in the wild card. But imagine and here comes Kevin Gausman. I was going to say the legendary Dodgers broadcaster who I believe has passed away. I was going to try to imitate his. Yeah. Vince Scully. I was going to imitate his voice, but I'm glad I didn't. Anyway, imagine him appearing in the 17th inning. Like, what? So, anyway.
It
would have been interesting if he pitched to Freddie Freeman instead of Brendan Little, because maybe that game goes on to the 19th inning or the 20th inning, because Little served up a home run to Freeman. He's a Hall of Famer, so I can't really blame him. But lefty on lefty. But anyway, great interview by you, Lindsay. And Kevin Gausman just seems like so chill. And also the mullet there, like the long hair. He's he feels like he's from 1991.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like I had to ask about it because following them all last year, they'll play around with like their facial hair or whatever. Like he had a full beard, the playoff beard, and then he shaved it all, and you're like, who is this man? But we played in the video, like just Dylan Cease's duster, we'll never not call it that, is insane. It is a beast of its own. But when Gausman told me that, we'll post the full interview later. There's more to the interview. There's other questions I asked him. It's just I wasn't going to play like the whole 900 hours I spoke to him. I said, did you think about who you potentially would have faced if you were at bat? Because Kershaw came in that game as well. Because I remember being in the media area at the game, like, Kershaw's coming out at like at one point. It was bases loaded for the Jays in extra innings. And he's like, I didn't think that far ahead. I was just really happy I was having a good moment in the cage because it was so long. But the reason I even asked that is because I remember when he was with Baltimore, and at the time there's still the rules, the pitchers had a bat.
Yes.
And he had a nice hit. So, yeah, my mind is still blown by this. I only ever wanted to see him retire a Jay. I hope he has another fantastic season. And I really would love for one day for them to allow him to sing the national anthem, because he also learned it, like we said, in French. But there's a whole debacle with Kevin Kiermaier, which is why I did the carpool karaoke with him, because he wanted to sing the national anthem at a Jays game. And I think the concern is, I don't know, I've not fact-checked this. I've not spoken to anyone in the organization. I think there's a fear that they're going to butcher our anthem.
One mistake, and then they're forever known as the guy in the CFL that butchered our Canadian anthem.
But they know that.
The CFL game in Las Vegas or whatever it is, like that guy.
Oh, yeah.
He'll never live that one down.
You're taking it back to the 90s, yeah. Oh, yeah, and you think Canadians will be okay about that? Anyone butchering our... Absolutely.
Yeah, probably.
If it was Kevin Gausman, I would be. Kevin Kiermaier, no, because he still stole the card at the plate when he played for Tampa. I will not trust him. But Kevin Gausman, I trust. And I don't care if he screws it up. There was effort put into it. But hey, we do have to talk about other sports. But quickly, I want to bring up the World Baseball Classic to both of you and everyone watching, because we were all so invested in it. They're auctioning off different items from the World Baseball Classic, including the espresso machine. And Cabbie, I'm wondering right now if you're willing, because there's 9 hours left in this bid, to lend me $5,030 US so that we can get Dan the espresso machine used by Team Italy in the dugout of the World Baseball Classic. Or, sorry, I'm yelling, DR's home run celebration jacket. There's 1 day left, and it's currently going for $18,900 US. Wow.
Yeah.
Is Daddy Yankee winning that bid? Like, what's going on here?
Write this off as a business expense.
Pitbull's not from the DR, but yeah, great. The way my bank account's set up is I need 3 business days because my check-in and I'm borrowing a bit from Kevin Hart. And the e-transfers, my limit is $2,000, so I got it. I just can't get it to the requisite time for the bid. So
I think we should put it on the company card and then have the espresso machine here in the studio for us to use when we need it.
Not a
deal.
bad idea.
I've never had one.
Or when anybody has a great take, you get to have a shot of espresso.
You guys would be having many shots.
You hit a home run.
I like that. Until now, I will have a shot of Coca-Cola. Delicious. They didn't ask me to do that, but I legit love Coca-Cola. But for $39.99, we could buy a little glass tube of dirt that was used in the World Baseball Classic final. So I found something that was reasonable.
Or something?
It just says game used dirt jar.
Wow.
Dirt. Yeah.
Final.
Sure, it's game used dirt.
Here's your dirt.
It's from the parking lot.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope they gave some to Eugenio Suarez and the rest of the Venezuela team. Here's some dirt to remember your game by.
Speaking of dirt, the Raptors played like dirt. That was a great segue. Thank you so much. I will do an espresso shot for that.
Wait, you just thanked yourself right there?
Yeah.
You're like, thank you so much for that great segue. Okay, all right.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
One on the board?
They played this weekend against the Suns, and if you were in Eastern time, it was a later bedtime clock for you and not worth it. At one point, I think it was like, I don't even know, 99 to 69 or 97 to 60 something, but it was bad.
Look, there's a good news and a bad news to this. Okay?
What is it?
The good news is the Raptors didn't blow this one in the fourth quarter.
The
bad news is they lost it from the first minute of the game and never found it after that.
You know what they did not find? Energy or urgency. Scotty postgame saying they did not have enough urgency, as did Coach Darko Rajakovic, said they did not have urgency. They did not respect their teammate or the game of basketball. That's a direct quote from Darko Rajakovic, who also spoke about the team's energy and was asked, how can he manufacture energy for the team when they don't have it?
Oh, I wish I knew the answer for that one. I tried everything. I tried encouraging. I tried not encouraging. I tried a lot of things tonight, and we failed. We did not have it tonight.
Very
honest. All facts.
Yeah.
That's tough. I mean, that's scathing. He's like, it's kind of reminds me what Berube said earlier in the season when he pointed to his head and his heart that the Leafs don't have. Not saying it went that far, but just getting called out by your coach. I imagine your phone is blowing up and multiple your buddies or your agent is sending that to you, and maybe you feel some type of way, or the guys look around the room like, yeah, we were up for the Denver game, but we were not. We totally blew it in the Phoenix game. And as Dan said, the Suns led wire to wire. And in fact, the Suns were coming off a loss to the Milwaukee Bucks the night before without Giannis, and Milwaukee is a lottery team. So they played with the requisite energy of playing for their playoff lives. And Toronto, oh man, I want to say at one point, they were up, I think by 30, the Suns led by 31, as many as 31 in the game. And in the fourth quarter, just the reserves play. Like Coach Rajakovic, like, all right, starters, you have a seat, because it's like this game is totally out of control or out of our hands now. Just get some Jamison Battle, go get some run. Jacoby Walter, get some run. Shed, like it was pretty bad. However, and Den said the Denver game, there were some great, if you don't mind me just quickly going back to Friday, the Denver game had some great moments, and specifically there was a couple of plays. I want to salute Jakob Poeltl. Jakob Poeltl, he played exceptional defense against Nikola Jokic. There was a moment in the third quarter where he denied an entry pass by batting the ball over the top from Jokic, which led to a Brendan Ingram. They go down court. He misses the three, and then Poeltl again on the other side bats. Gets possession of the rebound, bats it, and then Ingram collects it, drives to the hoop, and then the next play, Scotty Barnes is as Jokic is batting down Scotty Barnes, he turns over his shoulder to go for an easy deuce, and Scotty just like pins it to the backboard. I thought Toronto's energy guarding the 1 or 1A best player in the NBA was great. He finished with 22, 8 rebounds, 9 assists, which was like pedestrian numbers for him, but Toronto in the third quarter outscored Denver 41-28. But as Dan mentioned, they blew the fourth quarter, being outscored by 15 points. So, and there were some other plays in the fourth that were pretty remarkable for Toronto. And it seemed like the whole game was playoff intense. And then the come down, if you will, like 2 days later against Phoenix was just like wet socks. It was like womp womp. Like it's Friday night lights were boom, we're ready, and then Sunday was just they laid an egg, unfortunately. And fortunately for Toronto, they're still fifth in the East. They have a 39-31 record. Atlanta is knocking on their door.
Cap, have you seen the standings though?
Yeah.
Like fifth in the East is like
they're one game ahead.
When everybody's 38-32, they're right there with
But they didn't
even
slide
the team
into
that's in
playoff
10th has 33 losses. Like they could drop easily to 10th if they lose a couple more games.
Yes,
in a row.
yes, but they haven't yet. I mean, we were more panicked
Yet?
earlier in the week.
Yes.
Yes. When they were in the play-in, they were like in 7th for like one day or something like that. So, but it's kind of weirdly impressive that even with the back-to-back losses, they're still in 5th in the East. And you're right, there is a logjam there from 5 to 9 or 4 to 9 to 10. So they got it. Tonight is a get-right game in Utah. absolutely got to get right, and they got to smack around the Jazz and just get some confidence back before
they
they
don't,
go
I'm panicking.
into Inglewood. Yeah, you know, right? Yeah,
I will
that could
full
be
on panic on that one because we know that they're tanking. They're openly tanking. They've been fined for it. And yes, we've discussed how all teams at some point they tank. If they lose to Utah tonight, what are they even doing? When we had the worryometer for you, when we were talking about the Jays and their starting rotation.
People were very mad. Very mad.
I think Cabbie and I were also mad with you. But my worryometer, it's now at a 2. For the Raptors, it was at a 0 because in the Raptors, I don't trust that they're going to make it far in the Eastern playoffs. I know, but I'm just saying, but this is the realities. This season and right now, do not expect them to cause damage when in the playoffs against the East. When you look at the competition, I hope that I absolutely eat it when the playoffs start and they're not in a play-in and actually in a playoff spot, that they are able to have that competition, that urgency. But when you look at their division and the standings and who they could take on, it will be a battle. And I don't know if they're at the point or stage that they're going to be able to take a team down, whether it be the Cavs or the Knicks or the Pistons, whoever it ends up being. But I hope I'm wrong, because you see players step out at different points in different leagues and you're just like, who is this man? Is Jamal Shed going to suddenly have a great offensive game because we know he's been struggling for about a month, just jacking up a bunch of threes? Will he get playing time in the playoffs? Not sure, but we'll get there when we get there. But I am a little worried. If they lose tonight, my worryometer will be 500.
Okay.
500 out of 10.
I think that's maybe... if I'm going to have to be the voice of reason here for a second, the Raptors do have a very easy schedule to close out the season, much like most of their schedule this season has seemed very easy, especially early on and now to close it out. So they should be able to lock down one of those playoff spots rather than the play-in spots. As far as a playoff matchup goes, we've talked about it. This team's going to be fighting an uphill battle, but they are still very much in a learning process. If they keep putting up performances like last night, then they're going to be in trouble. But, that one, in fairness to the Raps, that one is an anomaly to the rest of their season where they don't get blown out often. It's been very rare under Rioux that they don't show up for a game. Maybe the best part of the game story last night is what they did on their off day in Scottsdale, because nobody had anything. You talk about Pirtle on Friday night, Cab. It's like, what, did he use all of his gas on Friday night? Because he had 0 points in 17 minutes and was not very good even defensively Sunday night against Phoenix. So because it's one game, I'm willing to let it slide. But yeah, I think the issue here for the Raptors and a lot of the NBA is you're kind of just buying time till the end of the season and to the actual playoff games actually begin. But the thing for the Raptors is they have to lock down one of these playoff spots. So you got to have that energy moving forward, fellas.
Wait, Dan, hold on. Do you know what the Raptors did in Scottsdale on Saturday night, or you just?
I do not. No, I just.
Okay, I thought
there was no video from an Uber that similar to the Ottawa Senators many years ago. But I'm just wondering, because they the fellas didn't have any juice last night in Phoenix. So what happened?
And Steve Nash was there too. Steve Nash was sitting courtside let's get a game for Steve, Captain Canada, the Hall of Famers in attendance, gracing the squad with his presence. RJ Barrett's godfather, let's give some kind of a man. Devin Booker was in his bag, bro. Third quarter, bro, it's just mid-range, Jalen Green.
Easy to play when there's no resistance.
Yeah, Brandon Ingram was not in his bag. Question for both of you guys in the chat. Someone called, and by someone I mean our lovely intern Joe, called Coach Darko Rajakovic Coach D. Do people call him that? Are we
not sure.
Joe's starting it.
Okay, Joe, you are a trendsetter. You are younger than me, so I'm going what you're going to say on this. So Coach D, we're hoping for a great win in Utah. And yeah, don't come at me. I celebrate the Raptors. I think there's a lot of potential in the players, and I just really need Jamal and Grady to have, I'm not energy. I don't know. They're just really in a slump. They need a slump buster.
You know what? Friday, we talked about this with Will Liu last week.
Yeah.
Grady did not play on Friday.
No.
Against Denver. The Raptors, I think, went with 8 players total in the game.
Yep.
Like, that's the rotation right now. And if you're going to win some trust to play some playoff minutes and meaningful playoff minutes, you've got only a handful of games left to figure out your game if you're those guys that didn't see the floor on Friday night.
Jacoby Walter.
Brady played on Saturday.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're right. He played Saturday.
Sunday. Sorry, he played in that fourth quarter when he was just getting. It actually played all right.
That's
I
also
think
an
he had 8 points
indictment
and a couple
on
of free
Grady.
balls. You're right. Yes, it is.
But yeah, Jacoby's been playing well.
Yeah,
Jacoby's
last
been
4 or
maybe
5
the
games,
bright spot. Yeah.
double digits. So that's a bright spot there. We'll see what happens tonight. No bright spot right now if you're a Leafs fan wanting them to make the playoffs. But also no bright spot if you're a Canucks fan, or you covered the Canucks at the beginning of the year and said that they were going to make the playoffs.
They were calling me the Grim Reaper in the press box on Friday night. And you killed the Canucks and you killed the Leafs in the same season. Like, I had nothing to do with it.
The Leafs taking on the Bruins tomorrow. They have, 11 games, 10 games left, something like that. Too many games left of pain. One might say this weekend, when we focus on the Ottawa game, they were outshot 44-14. Woof. You also had an incident on the ice where William Nylander accidentally hit Stoli in the throat. He had to go to the hospital pregame. He was
traveled back with the team.
He traveled back
Hopefully
with the team. Yes, we're hoping he's okay. But you just add that to the season that has been a circus, a gong show, if you might, and plagued by injuries and weird storylines, and it just did not get any better for them on the weekend. And especially if you're a Sens fan, you had a great weekend celebrating the Toronto Maple Leafs loss. Let's take a look at a couple of their moments.
The Senators fans, they had a really good chirp for the Leafs. We need Marner at the rink.
Yeah, you need Marner.
If you
That's
could
true.
hear it,
Those are facts.
if you heard it at the game, it's an okay chirp. Like, the thing about like this you need Marner chant is like it's forgetting the Marner side of things, where I feel like the way I view it is both the Leafs and Marner, they're like that friend of yours that's in an on again off again relationship, and everybody around them knows that they should have just stayed together even though that they didn't, and they would have been happier if they managed to figure it out together. And now that they haven't, they're both kind of in like weird spots. Like, the Leafs are missing the playoffs. Marner's having the least productive season of his career, and Vegas is really only in a playoff spot because they live in the Pacific Division, which, as was noted by Connor McDavid, is a pillow fight right now. So, both sides kind of are missing each other right now on that one. But it's, from a fan to fan base kind of chirp, it's still pretty good. The other one, having the Leafs playoff hopes in a coffin ahead of the game at the Canadian Tire Center.
This is fantastic.
Wow.
This is really good fanning right here. This is clever. Having a little bit of a wake for the Leafs 2026 season. Sens fans, salute to you. This was a good one.
Yeah, caps off.
Good. Well
Salute
played.
to you. That was well played and a little bit heartbreaking.
Can I just say, though, like, they're very quick to dance on the grave of the Leafs. The Sens are 10th in the Eastern Conference. Like, you're not even going to the playoffs. Like, you're acting like this is your championship this year when you haven't won a playoff series in Lord knows how long. But, And
how many cups have they won?
0.
Yeah, suck it, Sens fans. Leafs still have more cups. Although it happened when none of us were born, I will still celebrate that and have that until the day I die. No, that's getting gruesome. But Berube, Craigie Berube, Craigie B. Do you think he has lost the plot, Dan?
So it was an interesting weekend for Craig Berube.
Yes, it was.
At the game Friday night against Carolina, now you're watching that game. It's 4-3, right? Like, the Leafs lose it in overtime, but Joseph Woll stood on his head for most of the game. He was the only reason that game got to overtime, the only reason the Leafs were able to stay in that game. And Brandon Bussey on the other side of it was terrible for Carolina in net. So that helped the Leafs get to overtime as well. But I was shocked, legitimately shocked, when I heard Craig Berube say this after the game Friday night.
But, like tonight in the end, I think, I know we need a save. Like, whether it's the OT or it's one of the breakaways, we just need a big save there.
Fella wants Joseph Woll to be prime Patrick Waugh or something. This was really channeling Randy Carlyle's response to James Reimer, like, yeah, he was just okay. Reimer's like, man, I thought I was great. I'm just okay. Joseph Woll, unless he, was going to channel 86 Patrick Waugh, I don't think anybody was helping the Leafs beat Carolina on Saturday night in that way. And like, I could have used a save on the breakaway. No, you could have used Morgan Riley not giving up the puck at the offensive blue to give Keandre Miller a basically 150-foot breakaway. That might have helped too for your goaltender, Joseph Woll, on the night. And another one that Morgan Riley's pulling out of his own net. But hey, call out your goalie, who's been unbelievable the last couple of weeks and had to step in for you again on Saturday night in an emergency situation. But then it added on to it on Saturday with Easton Cowan, who was asked after the game, like, what happened? And, he kind of in just a throwaway comment, like, it was after the first goal, we kind of got deflated. And that message was relayed to Berube after the game. And here's how he responds to the idea that the team was deflated after the 1-0 goal.
Odd man tonight, something we talked about that we'd get probably if we did a good job, and we did, and we got to capitalize on some of them. We got to get more pucks than that.
You started that line to start the game.
Yeah.
They got rewarded there. How do you feel they've
So
come
I
along
must have put
as
the
a line?
wrong clip into the...
They've been good. I mean, I've had different
Give us your best,
winners,
Craig
with
B.
different.
Yeah. Essentially, Craig Berube said that, it's a cop-out. To say that you were deflated after the first goal, it's a cop-out. And I mean, I couldn't believe it that he's saying this in response to a comment from a 19-year-old player. Easton Cowan is going through it. He played well. He had a couple of points on Saturday night too. And just to shut it down like that was harsh. And Berube he knows what's happening at the end of the season. I think everybody kind of sees the writing on the wall, and the environment is not healthy. It's not conducive to building anything moving forward, but to just start calling out players left, right, and center shows the frustration is boiling over. And this is another mess that the Leafs have created for themselves by allowing this to continue for as long as it has, knowing that the writing is on the wall for big changes coming in the offseason.
I just don't know what else he can do, like Craig Berube. Like, call out your guys, or maybe you coddle them in the media. Like, it doesn't seem like he's that kind of a head coach. And this season, this season has not gone according to plan.
Other than Easton Cowan, if it's anybody other than Easton Cowan,
Easton Cowan was referring to the whole team. He wasn't referring to just I was deflated. He said we were all deflated. So it could be read as Berube addressing the whole squad and not directly responding to Easton Cowan. It's like, yo, you gotta buckle up, or put on your big boy pants, or whatever the right analogy is. It's obviously this season is one that they just want to flush down the toilet.
Deflated
but I just
because
know
they feel like
the
team's deflated because they feel like they got to win every game 1-0. All they do is dump and chase the whole time. Like this whole idea of how Craig Berube wants his team how to play hockey doesn't jive with the players he has actually available to him. And that's part of the reason this season has gone so off the rails. It's part of the reason we've seen this team really struggle analytically over the last 2 years under Craig Berube as head coach versus what they were before. Sheldon Keefe had his issues, sure, but this team was really good. And everything, every metric, every understanding we have of hockey backed that up. They couldn't get it done in the playoffs, sure, but everything they've done under Craig Berube has led to this, where they get outshot heavily every game. Like, their metrics are about the same as they were in 2014-15. You know how bad the Leafs were in 2014? That was an awful hockey team. That was a team trying to be bad. So now you're looking at it and you're like, this team has got a lot more talent than those rosters had back then, and they can't touch the puck against the Ottawa Senators, who are 10th in the Eastern Conference. So there's a disconnect between coaching and players, and everything that Craig Berube was saying post-game, Friday and Saturday. This guy's lost the plot. He's lost his team, and it's pretty obvious now with 10 games left in the season.
Well, you know what I'm hoping for tonight when it comes to or tomorrow night, the plot? I just want them to beat Boston. I know people just want them to lose and then Boston doesn't get their pick, but I don't want Boston to win any time over the Leafs or the Habs. Those are great points. And I know tomorrow we're going to get even more into what has happened with the Leaf season. But what I want to hear from you guys right now is what has been your story from the weekend that you want to share with the audience that has grasped your attention. Cabbie, let's go with you first.
Well, March Madness is in full effect, and it's been a riveting tournament. Not as many upsets. Actually, the Thursday had more upsets than Friday and Saturday, but there was a young player who had this viral moment, and there are two Canadians on the defending national champion Florida Gators. There's Xavier Lee, who is a dynamic point guard from Toronto, and then there is Olivier Rioux, the tallest player to ever appear in the NCAA tournament. He's from Terrebonne, Quebec. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but Terrebonne.
Sounded good.
I think so. There's about 30 minutes outside of Montreal. This moment is the one that went viral over the weekend. He's standing next to Hassan Diallo. Take a look at this footage and then just listen to the announcers right here. They'll explain it for you.
Now you're standing there, you see him standing next to Hassan Diallo, who is 6'8".
And look at Hassan Diallo looking up at Ollie.
He's standing next to Zdeno Chara.
6'8".
Yeah, and then the next play there was Rioux had a put back down. So Olivier Rioux is 7'9". I can't imagine what this kid's life is like, just going to just on campus, just sleeping. Do you have to have 3 beds next to each other and then sleep diagonal across all 3 beds, or you're going to a hotel? Like, what happens there? But he's become this fan favorite because he doesn't get a lot of playing time. He had, I think, 1 or 2 minutes in that specific game. It was a blowout against Prairie View A&M. But he had to put back, he had to dunk. So so far in this season, the young fella has, I believe he's got 7 points, 6 rebounds in about 7 or 8 games. So he will live forever in the hearts and minds of the Florida Gators fans. Unfortunately, Florida is the first 1 seed to be ousted in the tournament. They lost to the number 9 on a buzzer beater to the number 9 Iowa Hawkeyes. But Olivier Rioux, also known as Ollie by the fan base, welcome to the tournament, and we hope that we see you next season with a longer run and more substantial productivity, young fella. That was my favorite story from the weekend.
I love that.
It's so funny watching him dunk because he barely even jumps. It's just like, boop.
The dude could load could load your luggage onto an Air Canada flight just standing on the tarmac. The guy's so tall, just like one of these. And I'm sure he gets that all the time. It's such a corny joke. I'm such a hack, but man, what a life.
It's hopefully one day we get to see him against Wemby in an NBA game.
Oh my gosh! Wow, yeah,
that would be hella fun. But it also makes you appreciate how agile Wemby is because I mean, at 7'9", you're not expecting the guy to be or as tall as Wemby is. But when you're that large, you're not expecting the guy to be agile as well. And you can see that with Olivier Rioux. He's more of a traditional NBA basketball big man, whereas Wemby is a ball handler and everything else that comes with it. But shout out to Olivier Rioux. We hope many successes for him moving forward in his college career. So for me, the story of the weekend is Alex Ovechkin.
What happened there?
1,000 goals for Alexander Ovechkin now in both regular season and playoffs. So he's the second player to do it. Obviously, Wayne is the only other one to do it. He still needs another 20-some-odd goals to catch Wayne's ultimate regular season and playoff number. So maybe that is something to still play for. I'm also wondering, though, after we see this milestone, if these are the last handful of games that we see Alex Ovechkin play in the NHL. He hasn't committed either way, but if you've been following along in recent weeks, he's kind of talked about how hard it is to get ready for games and keep his body going. The Washington Capitals, since they started tracking shifts, there isn't a player that has gone an entire season without starting a shift in the defensive zone. Alex Ovechkin might be the first. So yes, Spencer Carberry is getting very creative in how he uses Alex Ovechkin into his early 40s. There's a real question of how much longer we're going to see the greatest goal scorer of all time. So my story from this weekend, he is the greatest goal scorer of all time. We already know that. But cherish these last few games because they might be the final ones we see of Alex Ovechkin in the NHL.
You know who wants to see Ovechkin when he's in Toronto? Max Scherzer.
Ah. Well,
when he played for the Nationals,
Washington.
they had a friendship, and he's hoping to see him when the Leafs take them on, and most likely they'll beat the Leafs. And who knows how many goals he will score against them to get towards.
Might be the last time you see Ovi at SBA. So.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, my story has to do also with March Madness, and Malik Reneau he played for the Miami Hurricanes, who he was averaging 19 points a game in his senior year. Unfortunately, they lost. The game before, he had, I think, 24 points, but in the game they lost, before he spoke to the media or anything, he actually went and did something that spoke right to my heart. Let's take a look at the photos. He went to the concourse and waited in line for chicken strips. He really wanted some chicken strips after the game.
This is outstanding. That college life, that student life, bro. No, this is amazing.
So this went viral. He was a bunch of people took photos of him standing in line, and then photos of him walking away with a nice bag in hand, that being some delicious chicken tenders, which I'm like, if they're that good, we need to go get some. But I love this. Like,
I know you're big on chicken tendies, but like this is could nobody have brought him down some chicken tendies?
Never called him chicken tendies.
Where's the team services guy?
Yeah, that's what, it's funny because a lot of people who support this team, they're like, are they not feeding our players? Is this why they lost? Like, hey, he just wanted some chicken tenders. And then after, when he had his post game talking about how that most likely, like, it is his last game with the Hurricanes, he was really sad and emotional, but he did it on a full stomach. So shout out to him for going and getting those delicious chicken tenders.
Did anybody ask what his sauce of choice was? Like plum sauce?
Barbecue, plum.
Let's get into this.
Ranch.
What is your sauce of
ranch.
choice when they are plain? Okay, so ranch if they're plain.
I like a good buffalo sauce.
Okay, yeah, solid. Mine's
I'm with you.
ketchup.
Barbecue. Ketchup?
Yeah.
On chicken tenders with all the other flavors available?
All the other flavors. Yeah.
So when you get the buffalo chicken tenders at Scotiabank Arena,
they're perfect as they are.
Okay, so no side of ketchup.
They're just perfect. When they're
I was
regular,
say, that would be a weird mix, like buffalo chicken tenders and ketchup.
No, that would just be sacrilegious.
Yeah.
I don't even know what to think if someone is doing that. But
the buffalo chicken tenders with some ranch, that's a good combo.
They slap
Not
on
blue
their
cheese
own.
because blue cheese sucks.
It does suck.
Blue cheese does suck.
Fist
Oh,
bump
the
to-
worst of all the combos.
We all agree on
condiments.
something.
If you like blue cheese, I think
Finally.
differently. It's true.
We're going to have blue cheese on the show next week, and we're all going to eat it together. No, we're not. But what
Please
we will
no.
celebrate right now is your 416.
We know what the next bet might be. You have to eat a jar of blue cheese. Never mind sardines.
100%. We will have to eat a giant spoonful of blue cheese. That is the next bet. But when we talk about betting, it is time for your ProLine pick. The new ProLine app is here. Betting online with ProLine Plus and betting in store with ProLine are both easier than ever with their new app. More sports, more leagues, and more markets than ever. Bet on March Madness all tournament long online with ProLine Plus or in store with ProLine. Dan, you're up first. Make it a swish.
Well, we like to ride on Narrative Street, the narrative about the Raptors. They were a no-show in Phoenix last night, so a chance for a do-over when they go to Utah tonight. Brandon Ingram was among the biggest culprits for the Raptors in Phoenix. He had a rough night, was 3 of 10 from the field, had just 6 points, one of his worst games as a Raptor. We're betting on the bounce back for BI tonight. So the notorious BI3 to go over 21.5 points for the Raptors tonight.
Love that, Dan. These picks are for entertainment purposes only. After moving into 5th on the all-time scoring list in NBA history, passing the GOAT, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, Kevin Durant has the opportunity to put on a show in the house that Michael built. That is the United Center in Chicago. The Houston Rockets are playing the Bulls. Since the All-Star break, KD is averaging 29 points per game on the road. The Bulls have lost 4 of the last 5 games and praying to the basketball gods to get the first overall pick, who will most certainly be AJ DeBonsa of BYU. Kevin Durant to score 25 or more in Chicago is my 416 ProLine pick of the day.
With the money I am going to win off of both of your picks, I will buy you both the most delicious snack that is in a vending machine that you could get. Take a look at this photo that
friend of the show David Alter.
David Alter. I was like, I'm so sorry, I forgot who
That's
posted
White
this.
Castle?
This is White Castle
burgers?
in a vending machine.
Oh,
In a vending machine.
And that is, but the thing is, they can't get much worse. So basically, if you like White Castle, that is the exact same. I don't
This
know.
is the classic game of would or
cold.
wouldn't.
Oh my
Would you or wouldn't
gosh.
you?
Absolutely, I would. I absolutely would try this. I
You
had
would
vending
just
machine.
try it just
You
for
would-
the
no.
novelty?
Why not? Yeah, absolutely. If anytime I
Lindsay.
see anything that's different in a vending machine, I will try it. When I was in Paris for the Olympic Games, they had a whole pizza you could get. I'm like, absolutely, I will try this. Did I burn my hands taking it out of the vending machine and drop it? I absolutely did, but I still ate
You
it.
got pizza out of a vending
Oh
machine?
yeah, it was not bad. It was.
I can't believe a White
But
Castle.
White Castle.
Damn, would you ever? Like if
Yes,
you lose,
do
if
it.
you
Honestly,
like on
okay.
purpose, not losing
would
a
not.
bet or not
No.
completely, you
No.
know, blasted
So-
out of your mind.
Harold and
sober.
Kumar Go to White Castle came out like around the time I was like finishing up high school, around there. So me and my buds, we were on a road trip to Giant Stadium to watch Manchester United against Milan play in a friendly at Giant
Not
Stadium.
bad.
And we had to stop at White Castle because we saw the movie, obviously. And I'll never forget, vividly I remember somebody was puking in the washroom as we walked in.
Come on.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know what I'm getting myself into. And like, look, I don't want to hate on White Castle. Personally, I did not have a great experience with their burgers. They're not very good. They're not my kind of burger. So yeah, it's like they're steamed. I don't know. How do they even make them? They're so weird. Has anybody had these things? So I would never get it out of a vending machine. I wouldn't even go back to a White Castle, period. So
Same.
sorry.
Cabbie,
I hope they're never a sponsor of this
You
show.
wouldn't do this, Cabbie, just for fun, the novelty if someone else like myself bought you this?
No bueno. I'm not trying to get food poisoning. I'm not trying to eat like an over microwaved burger, which like it's barely. I don't even know how the FDA granted White Castle license to serve
barely a
food
burger.
to humans. I've had White Castle when I was a teenager, when I went to visit my cousin in New Jersey, and they were like 35 cents a burger. Like how nutritional do you think is a 35-cent burger? And that was like in the 90s. I'm sure it's worse now. No,
What's the
wait, so
protein
did David Alter
content on a
actually?
White
He
Castle?
took the photo, but did he actually eat a burger? Do we know if
We don't know.
he ate one?
We don't know.
Oh man,
We're gonna have to have him
Gotta
on
get him
again
on.
to figure that
yes,
out.
we
Next
will.
time.
We will.
What's the weirdest thing you've seen in a vending machine other than like a hamburger now?
Do I need to answer this? You know my answer.
What's your answer?
So when he sent this photo in the group chat, Cabbie, I just typed in like weird things in vending machines. It's a weird bucket list item that I want to go to Japan and try all the weird vending machines that they have there because they have so many different
much
things.
rather have ramen out of a Japanese vending machine than a White Castle burger out of a vending machine.
You know that the quality would be actually pretty high.
So in my research, someone brought up that in Tokyo, do not put me on full screen for this, Nick. Put it back on a 3-shot because you can buy for $8 used women's underwear.
I mean, come on.
You're lying about this.
I showed you the photo.
mean, Everybody's got a kink, but out of a vending machine?
Yeah.
I mean,
$8. I don't even want to know how they would know they were used.
If they were new, I could understand it. Maybe somebody has an emergency. They need a new pair. You know.
They Shatkins themselves. I don't know, but on that lovely note, we have Max Scherzer on the show tomorrow. So
Do we?
thanks for joining
I hope
us
so.
tomorrow on Off the Roster. That's so gross.
Hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more Off the Roster content, make sure to like and hype this video and subscribe to the Nation Network YouTube channel.